Hello everyone, and welcome to my DOOL Today official news channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Ben Weston comes back to deal with Clyde, a tense reunion between father and son? Days of Our Lives teases that there's a major Clyde-Weston issue at the Salem Police Department. Since Clyde is genuinely committing more crimes now than he did while he was a free man, this threat to society needs to be addressed. Thus far, Clyde's imprisonment has only made him more dangerous. Since Clyde has control over so many minions, it is obvious that he possesses a great deal of power. This has made it possible for Clyde to obtain cell phones and use his magic in Statesville, indicating that the legal system isn't operating as it ought to. Rafe Hernandez might become so desperate as to phone the one person who could perhaps turn Clyde's life around, but it's a long chance. Despite being a rather disturbed man, Clyde has a strange kind of affection for his son. For this reason, Rafe may call Ben Weston and urge him to try to reach his father. Day's teasers claim that unless someone can ultimately stop Clyde, he will keep wreaking havoc. Ben might succeed or he might fail, but it's still worth a go. Ben is off the market because of Sierra Brady Weston and their family, but he might be open to returning to Salem to speak with his father. It's not like Days needs to go to great lengths to make this comeback, after all. Why not allow Robert Scott Wilson to do double duty by making an appearance as Ben while he's still on the show as Alex Kyriakis? Ben has changed his life, so wouldn't he want to aid the kind residents of Salem in any way he could? Fans of DOOL are aware of Ben's fondness for Marlena Evans, who has suffered losses due to Clyde's mischievous behavior. Ben might, at the very least, return home and do this for Marlena's sake and the sake of those she loves. Ben surprising Clyde in Statesville would be interesting, though, for whatever reason. If Ben begs Clyde to quit the drug trade and quit making so many Salemites miserable, father and son may have a stormy reunion. Ben might have a quick day of homecoming to try that idea, even though it's unlikely to succeed, just in case his dad harbors any romantic feelings. Stay in for further updates on all the amazing news and intricate webs. According to previews, Clyde's narrative on Days of Our Lives will include more surprises. A story of Jada's cheater bust, Xander turns down Sarah's request for a bedroom. The recap for Friday, January 20 SIXS episode of Days of Our Lives indicates that Alex Kyriakis visited Marlena Evans at work and expressed gratitude for their late encounter. While providing updates on Teresa Donovan, the basis for this late-night therapy session, Marlena reassured Alex that everything was okay. Alex acknowledged that Teresa made a snap decision to return to California after discussing Teresa's recent slip and how Brady Black assisted him in taking care of her. Teresa was terrified, but Alex persuaded her to stay since he needed her. Alex was used to just wanting other ladies in the past. Although Alex had a strong affection for Stephanie Johnson, this was not the same. That notion astonished him as it dawned on him, since Marlena had believed it sounded like Alex was in love. Marlena advised Alex to take his time and observe how their relationship progressed, but Alex was unsure if he should ask Teresa to marry him. Following that, in the Friday's Days episode, Teresa appeared at the hospital and almost turned away from Kayla Johnson, Mary Beth Evans. Teresa ultimately opened up to Kayla a little once she saw her and waved. Teresa considered falling in love with Alex after discussing her mistake and her resolve to never let it happen again. Alex was initially only being used by Teresa to irritate Brady. After that, he turned into a distraction. Teresa admitted that she felt bad about her previous transgressions, but she was now genuinely in love with Alex. Teresa decided that expressing apologies was necessary because Kayla had advised it would make her feel better. After that, while they were both still digesting the instruction they'd heard, Teresa and Alex had an awkward encounter. Xander Cook prepared Sarah Horton a traditional Scottish supper for Burns night at home on Friday's DOL show, and he also asked her about her day in the hospital. Xander encouraged Sarah to ask for a raise because she put in a lot of work. Talking about money made Sarah uneasy because it was the previous cause of her problems with Xander. But Xander made things right because he didn't suggest that Sarah wouldn't pitch in equally or that they wouldn't be able to care for Victoria Horton Cook. After a few flirtatious moments and a finished bottle of wine, the meal got back on track. They followed Sarah's suggestion and drank whiskey from the unique Celtic cup that Xander had indicated. Sarah gave Xander a passionate kiss and asked if they could take this into the bedroom before he started reading a love poem. Xander acknowledged that he would never love again, but he didn't think they should because he was working so hard to avoid making a mistake. Though there was still a lot of tension between them, Sarah hugged Xander and thanked him for thinking clearly for the two of them. It was evident that it was difficult for them to resist temptation when Sarah left Xander in the living room and went to bed. When Xander's phone called, a garbled voice said they needed him to kill someone as part of a job. On Friday's episode of Days, Stephanie joined Jada Hunter at a table at the pub after apologizing for being late. Before they all began chatting up each other about embarrassing personal anecdotes, Rafe Hernandez arrived and offered his own belated apology. Rafe noticed that Stephanie hesitated, but Stephanie stated she was still swearing off men when Jada inquired. As she worked with two of her ex-partners, Stephanie acknowledged that it was challenging. Jada added that Stephanie had lived in Seattle for a while after Stephanie started talking about her past romantic partner from that city. Stephanie remembered Jada saying similar to her previously and wished they had kept in contact. Jada told Stephanie that Rafe was different from her dishonest, unfaithful ex-boyfriend in that he was charming, polite, humorous, and devoted when he was getting drink refills. When Stephanie inquired as to why Jada's marriage had ended, Jada said that her husband hadn't purchased her any jewelry in months when she noticed a jewelry charge on their credit card bill. Jada claimed her spouse became extremely irate when she approached him about her misgivings. Jada realized her marriage was over at that point. Stephanie once got up from the table to answer a call from Blake Barris's character, Everett Lynch. Stephanie was in the pub with friends when Everett asked for her assistance reviewing an article, so she replied it would have to wait until the morning. Everett was enthused about the prospect of joining them and announced he was on his way when Stephanie urged him to. Everett appeared astonished when he arrived and spotted Jada seated with Rafe and Stephanie. Everett sneaked back out and contacted Stephanie to let her know he wouldn't be able to make it because Jada and the others hadn't noticed him at the doorway. Jada and Rafe could see Stephanie was disappointed after she told them. After Stephanie and Everett chatted on the phone once more during Friday's episode of Days, he pretended to be strange and called her into his suite to discuss an urgent matter. Everett stated they should sit down and that he had a confession to make when Stephanie arrived. According to spoilers for Days of Our Lives, Stephanie will soon receive some amazing news from Everett, so stay tuned for that. Is the villain's tragic exit from this storyline, Clyde's swan song, brewing? According to spoilers for Days of Our Lives, Clyde Weston has managed to grow even more formidable as a villain while incarcerated, which is a major issue. When a villain is already receiving punishment in the slammer, how do you stop him? Even in a more secure setting or kept in solitary confinement, there's a strong indication that Clyde would find a way to wreak havoc. It appears like Clyde's impending doom is the only thing that could put an end to his suffering at this point. Is this the plot of Clyde's swan song? Is Days now prepared to write this deranged monster off for good? This June is James Reed's 10th anniversary of taking on the role, so perhaps the program will commemorate by giving Clyde a spectacular farewell. Given that he has no relatives left in Salem, it seems as though Clyde's character has reached its peak. Watchers of Days will remember that Clyde's son is no longer around to discipline him because Ben Weston is off canvas with Sierra Weston and their small family. Now, Clyde's only purpose in life is to make trouble, and he's creating a lot of it. If Clyde isn't responsible for planning every incident that transpired the evening before Valentine's Day, he has done more than enough over the years to merit a graphic farewell. This involves resulting in the terrible conclusion for Marcy Miller's character Abigail DiMera since Chad DiMera. That loss permanently altered the lives of Thomas and Charlotte DiMera. Many Days fans are demanding Clyde's resignation on social media, saying they are sick of his pranks. Maybe it's time to put Clyde to rest for a while, or at least retire him from the role of villain. It's simple to picture a spectacular finale in which Clyde manages to slip away and is ultimately eliminated. It will be interesting to watch who removes Clyde from the map in the end if a situation like that comes to pass.